Obviously, I'm a great supporter of the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, being a trustee, and not only believe in the idea of a circular economy, but trust also in the science I have seen. I wonder, though, if we are not talking bluntly enough about the risk of transitioning to circular models for the individual corporations. Of course, as an economy as a whole, the numbers add up, like you said, but that doesn't mean that for the individual company to reset their supply chain, to retrain their staff, or even rehire where retraining is not realistic, those are significant investment risks. And it's not a given just because circular economy makes sense as a whole that it will work out for that individual company. So the question then for me is not whether the concept is plausible as a whole, but who finances the risk of that transition?
That's a really interesting and good question. And it's a conversation we've been having with companies for the last decade. I think everybody can see that the circular model can run in the long term and the linear can't. But there's the question of, when do I jump? When I jump, how far do I jump? How much do I invest? You know, Renault's been one of the companies we worked with right from the beginning. I remember them investing billions in EVs, and everyone said, you're crazy, EVs aren't the future. You know, now look, I think it's easy to question change at the beginning, but very insightful to look back and see how quickly that change has actually really happened. So it's an interesting question. I think without question there's a cost to a transition to a circular economy, but you have to weigh that up against the risk of staying with the linear economy. If linear doesn't work, then what does? It's circular. So how do you transition? You can't drop everything and be circular tomorrow, because obviously your company won't have any income and it won't be able to function. So there's got to be that transition period. There is a cost to that, but you have to look in the long term. The investors have to understand that this is a longer term view. The investors have to realise that linear doesn't work in the long term, and there is that time when you have to move forwards. But with the incumbents, it takes time. You know, if you're a big organisation that's been running a linear system for many, many years, that'll take longer than a new startup that comes up with an amazing idea and, you know, within a few years becomes $1 billion company. There are many examples of that. You know, seizing that opportunity and then making that happen. And I think the winners will be that mix of the incumbents who really take this on and those startups who grow incredibly quickly with an idea from nowhere because they don't have the baggage of that linear system around them.